back, everyone, to this week's episode of Booking the Territory, the Unprofessional Wrestling Podcast. For today, we're covering WCW Saturday Night on TBS from February the 23rd, 1991. This is Mike. I'm sitting here with Doc. No hard body Harper this week. He's got Wildcat Sports duty tonight because by the time you hear this, the show would have happened. But they've got a show coming up in just a couple of days back in New Orleans. He's prepping his troops for that one, I guess. And if he was here, it's not like he'd plug it anyway because you'd say, Harper, what's going on? Oh, no, you got to be there. That would be his plug for his own promotion because he can't plug shit. Doc, what's up, man? How you doing?
I wonder if he's as non-committal with his House of Hardbody as he is with us.
You mean when he texts back when we ask a specific yes or no question and his response is always
like
okay?
Matt Lancey's like, hey, we going to work out tonight? Okay.
Probably.
Well, hey, man. I'm fighting. I am surrounded by coronavirus. I thought it was over, but it's not. 5 people in the house. 3 have rapid tested positive.
It's nice.
Yeah, I continue to test negative, but I don't feel great. I think I probably have it. I'm vaxxed and boosted and all that, so if it happens, it'll probably be all right. It's kind of weird though. You kind of deal with this thing and hear about it for 2.5 years, and then all of a sudden you have it. You think you've had it though. You think you've had it.
I'm convinced we've all had it by now. Like, I'm not a virologist, obviously. I'm no doctor. I'm not Dr. Blassie. I'm convinced we've all at some point gotten it. And when I say all, I probably shouldn't say all. 90% of us have gotten it, I think. Like, I've got no data to back that up. I just think of all the mingling we're doing as a society. You know, everything's been open now for years. Yeah, I think we've all had a chance to get it by now.
That's why algorithms are stupid. What I just said was innocuous and safe and just a fact or, hey, it's happening. You just come on here and basically spout some wild ass theory that you have based on no research or anything else. And just because you don't use a certain word, you're going to be okay.
Bro,
what kind of bullshit is that?
Bro, these algorithms are weird, dude. I see stuff that I am like,
if that's as good as the AI can do at this point, we're going to be long gone before the robots take over.
Oh, yeah. We will be long gone before the robots take over.
If that's the algorithms running the robots, these sons of bitches are bumping into each other like the Three Stooges and shit.
Dude, we're going to be long gone before the robots take over. Trust me. We will do things to destroy ourselves before the robots have a chance to do so. The robots, if they were a thing, they will just be in the initial stages and they'll look at themselves and go, these idiots are dumb. Just let them destroy themselves. And that's what's going to happen.
Okay. That's another conspiracy theory you can shout out to here in the last 5 minutes. You're on a roll here tonight.
Strictly for entertainment purposes, as I say all of that.
Well, since you're on to conspiracy theories, we have some very large news to talk about in the world of wrestling. Do you want to go ahead and talk about that, or do you want to do whatever else it is that a conspiracy theorist like you likes to do?
Okay, I'm not a conspiracy theorist for one. I mean, we've made fun of Bigfoot here in the past. We've I do believe in aliens, and but I'm not a conspiracy theorist. Let's get that straight. I'm not the one on here promoting flat Earth BS and things like that. But
that's like saying that's like somebody saying I'm the least racist person you could know.
Oh God, I hate when people say that. Just put I'm a racist on your forehead. If you ever have to say that, just come on, man. Don't go there. But get on to something more serious here. I don't know what's going on with the Apple Pod algorithms and 5-star reviews, but there are people who are submitting 5-star reviews and they're not reaching our feed for whatever reason. So if
we have not changed. So what you're saying is we have not changed our longstanding policy of reading 5-star reviews on the air. They're somehow just not getting to us.
Yeah. So Apple, get your stuff together. Get these 5-star reviews on there because we're getting them. They're just not showing up. Now, tonight, I'm going to read 2 of them simply because I told these folks I would read them, but I'm not going to be able to. If we start getting 10 and 20, I'm not going to be able to do a whole show.
Yeah,
I will read them as they come up, though.
We'll do what we need to do to take care of our end of the bargain. So keep doing it. Keep working out there, people.
See, the thing is, one of our listeners, Better Call Beer Man,
he got suspended, didn't he?
I don't know what you're talking about.
I thought he got kicked off Twitter forever.
I saw this tweet today, so I don't know what you're talking about. About forever, whatever. Anyway, at Cleaning Towels, Better Call Beer Man, 5-star review. This is the one that appeared and then just disappeared like 3 weeks ago. He stated, the show is classic wrestling reviews with filth and tomfoolery mixed in, but the best part is the interaction online with members of the BTT Army. Mike, Doc, and Harper have brought us some good peeps. Oh, I'm sorry. Mike, Doc, and Harper have brought some good peeps into my life that I now consider my friends. Keep up the good work, and as always, be blessed and be a blessing. That's a good one, huh, Doc?
Oh, yeah, I love it.
Now, here's a long
He comes on here and half puts us over and then puts over the freak show that goes on online with these people. That's just great.
The dude just put you over and you're putting him down? I don't get it.
Have you not been a part of this for 7 years?
Oh, God.
I don't handle compliments well.
It's true. So basically he said, thank you, Beer Man. Now, let's keep on moving. The next one, this is from long-time BTT Hall of Fame patron. He's been with us forever. Chris Browning. He is the person or the gentleman who had the Docaholic for Life shirt on at Wildcat X-Rated. I sent you a text, if you recall, Doc. He's got a nice little rhyme here. Bear with me as I get through this. He sent this through Apple 3 different times, and it still hasn't showed up. Yeah, exactly. Chris goes on to say, wrestling, we all love it from the serious to the carny, and no one loves it more than the BTT Army. They're propped up by this podcast, the best you'll ever hear, because they dive into the classic stuff we hold so dear. Mike is a host, a straight man through and through, maintaining a semblance of order with this hooligan crew. Doc provides the irreverence, the wit, and the talent. His voice brings the reason and commands the room so gallant. Harper calls it straight. He'll call a mark, bitch. But he can make us laugh at anything, even an ink cartridge.
Come on.
That's great. Lance dissects the programs with a voice so smooth and slick. Sounds like the white guy in every 80s Eddie Murphy flick. Everyone is listening, so start downloading now, because the lines of those unsatisfied is shorter than Buku Dao. They make the other podcasters sound like they're off the skids, and they've got them running scared like they were Buck Zumhoff's kids. Woof! Those other guys are boring. They're always lecturing and carrying. BTT is committed to keeping you from the Von Erich thing. Every week, they're out there killing it like Tammy Sitch. So give them a listen and become a patron and then book it, bitch. This guy's got talent, man. He's a Docaholic. I mean, he's got talent.
That's something else. I think we're going to make him the Docaholic, give him the spotlight of the week. That was something. I appreciate that.
I like that one. That was great.
Imagine how much productivity his employer lost while he sat down at his workstation working on that.
Hey, Faye, brother. It's an open channel.
Oh.
Okay. So, Doc, that was all the 5-star reviews that, for whatever reason, aren't coming in these days. And
it's real frustrating when you can't say certain words, but you can't get your other shit delivered.
I know, man.
It's just like every other company out there. You pay more and you get less.
As I'm talking about, both of these gentlemen are patrons. I want to give a special shout out to our largest page contributors monthly, Disrespectfully Classy, Marky Blassie, Mike Chody, Joe Ice, and good old Justin, before I forget. And Doc, we do have an important topic. Vince McMahon retires. But before we go there, I just want to make sure you don't have anything else.
Am I supposed to?
No, I just thought I'd ask before we get into this topic, because to me, this week's show, Saturday Night, it's hilarious, but not for good reasons. We'll talk more about that. Dusty is a clown, but I actually enjoyed it, as I said, not for good reason. So I don't know why I said it like that. But we got to talk about something serious. So here we go.
I believe I called this straight down the middle that Vince is out.
So you called it straight down the middle, my ass. Vince McMahon, every wrestling podcast did a breaking news 4 or 5 days ago about this. And by the time you hear this, 2 weeks ago, every podcast, all I did was text Doc a screenshot of a tweet, and we're going to talk about that now, but there was no, hey, you want to get on and record? Because we were like, let all the other people talk about this like it's breaking news. We're going to do what we do here on BTT and have the discussion when we have the discussion. Now, sometimes we have done some breaking news stuff, but it was stuff that mattered, like when New Jack passed away, Tracy Smothers passed away. Like, we kind of recorded that immediately. With Tracy, actually, he passed, I think, the day before we recorded. So, but with New Jack, we did a special episode that Friday night. We had to we got down and talked to it. This, I'm not going to call this breaking news, but we do need to discuss it. Vince McMahon retires, but we're here to tell you Vince McMahon is not done with WWE. You did not call it down the middle. I actually called it right. You didn't. Doc, what are your thoughts on Vince retiring, but he ain't done yet?
I think it would be, I think we're going to have a couple of takes here that all these other podcasts haven't had. And then we're going to have some that, I think everybody's thinking. But in the end, I think you can say Vince screwed Vince.
I think there's something to that.
And at the end of the day, I think I heard your little buddy TGBL say, in the end, what brought him down was going public.
I caught the YouTube version of that. I ain't listened to the whole show, so I don't know what else they would have talked about with that. He nailed it with that because you and I have talked about how the wrestling business is carnying it up. And if this is not a publicly traded company, Vince McMahon can just tell these allegations to go blow themselves. He can just say, whatever, I don't care. He can just stomp around and say, whatever, do something about it. Because it's a publicly traded company, that was the nail in the coffin. But he's not done. We're going to get there shortly. That's what did it. Publicly traded company. He kind of had his hand forced. I want to know, from the board, who finally got through to him, though. I do want to know that, and I want to know what was said to force him to quote-unquote retire. He ain't retire. He resigned. Let's be real. The retiring is just that's just lingo, okay? That's just
so
a word.
On. Let me clean up some of this nonsense in here and get you back on track.
Please.
In the earnings filing, it was a resignation and it was not a retirement. That's important, probably, because he probably that changes his go home pay. And this is where I think all of this comes in. It's not that anybody gives a shit what he stuck his dick in as the shareholders. They don't care. It's how the money's being accounted for. And so at some point, the shareholders like, wait, you're giving some paralegal that you're boinking $300,000 a year. That's our money. Give us more dividends. Stop paying her, pay us. The other thing is there's certain accounting principles that now have to be followed once you're a corporation. You can't just move money from under the mattress to up in the ceiling tiles like you're an old territory wrestling promoter. And
keep going.
There's some, if you don't, now I ain't going to say everybody's doing everything above board in every corporation, but at least they understand the rules of that game and they're playing those rules. I think Vince is exposed somehow. And the terms are he'll go quietly so he doesn't go to jail. Now, is he done? No. Come on.
Well, go ahead before we talk.
And the
about
other question is, who's moving on him?
Yeah, I agree. Who's moving on him?
Because the first thing they did was we're going to investigate ourselves. And that if the LSU Tigers investigated their own football program, they'd be like, man, the only thing we found was a bunch of awesomeness. I mean, it was pretty cool. So, yeah, we're good.
Anytime anybody says we're doing an internal investigation, that just means they're doing some internal BS. Okay, let's be real.
Sure. Nobody's honest with themselves but me.
All right. So I was trying to look up the article that came out right before the quote unquote retirement. And I want to stress something you said. So you said it wasn't a retirement. It was listed as resignation.
A resignation.
Right. So I think I read it after the quote unquote retirement, big air quotes, that they had uncovered that the books weren't straight and they were basically refiling their books and accounting for the money that wasn't there and things like that. That's a problem with a publicly traded company.
Yeah. So if here's the thing, and I heard this one time in business, and it cut to the bone in the room I was in. But when you think about it, it's real true. I saw a big time executive tell a younger employee, cut him to the knees, said, look, if I don't believe one of your numbers, I'm not going to believe any of your numbers.
Yeah. Because if I find one thing wrong,
the second you get funny with the second you get funny with a number, what else are you doing?
But Doc, you said at the beginning of this, I'm not talking about the last time we talked about it, when this first came out. Vince, Johnny Ace is going to fall on a sword. It ain't going to be Vince.
But here's the difference.
No, you said he's going to make it.
Well, here's why he didn't. Nobody could have predicted that Vince, through probably a combination of ego, dementia, and stupidity, mix the streams of money.
What a buffoon. Take the moral part out of it.
Vince screwed Vince. I mean, again, he could have skated through some irregularities and some improprieties. But the minute the money started getting messed with and they have to, on the filings, bro, somebody's got to pay for that. And the question for me is are the people that are moving on him, is it Nick Khan or is it familial?
I just think it confirms they're going to get sold now for sure.
Well, here's the other take. Everybody who's like, oh boy, we've been waiting for this day because now everything's going to get better.
No, I tell you whatever. Yeah, no, it ain't.
No, it's not. And right. Here's the other thing. I would wish that it would. That'd be great. I would love to watch better wrestling. But to be honest, the only real good period of WWE, WWF I've ever liked was that late 90s stuff. And so they've never been the wrestling company I want to see. So why do I care? Really?
Well, no, you care because deep down inside, you don't want this wrestling business to go away.
It's not going to go away. Here's the thing. Would it be even better if it did get sold and it doesn't it's not wrestling anymore. And we don't even go under that pretense. And there's something else and they're bigger than AEW, but AEW becomes the biggest wrestling company. But there is no way it's just going to get better.
Nah, that whole is going to get better is I don't know why.
There's too many corporate controls. There's too many things that are in place to make sure there's no heat. And I don't care. Triple H may do a good job with some things. He may be an improvement, but this thing ain't set up to bring you kick-ass wrestling. That ain't the goal. So who cares? Now, what I want to know is, now I think Vince is going to figure a way back in. And the reason why?
Back into what? WWE?
Yeah.
Okay.
He ain't got nothing else to do but figure a way back in.
Okay.
So if somebody came to you or me, I don't know, let's say the show got interrupted right now and said, we're going to give you, for whatever reason, you're going to have $15 million. Are you ever working another day in your life?
It depends if you consider BTT a job.
No. It would start with me having to get paid once, but I'm talking about shoot job blues. Now I got 15 million, not before taxes. That's what you're going to clear. You got 15 million in the bank. Are you ever going to work again?
Like I said, as long as you don't consider BTT a job,
I'm not okay.
There's a lot of work. Hold on. There's a lot of work that goes into BTT. No, I'm not working again. I'm not working again. I work for myself, but I'm not working for anyone else.
That's even harder than working at the shoe job.
Well, I consider BTT working for myself. That's why I say that.
Okay, I guess I have to be super clear here and break out my crayons.
No, you don't have to be super clear. BTT is a job. Like, it's a lot of work.
Trust me.
Editing, watching shows, taking
dealing
notes,
with the minutes
editing,
on the air,
posting shit.
I get it. The point is, you and I are guys that could make a living out of doing nothing as long as there was enough interest off the investments coming in to I ain't gonna get bored. I go take a nap. If I'm bored, I'll go take a nap. I'll read a book. I'll watch some wrestling. I'll go outside and stare at some clouds. And Vince ain't built like that.
Yeah, he's not.
This is his thing. And he's a control freak. And now he had spent 40 years building an ecosystem that he could control, and that everything bent to his will. Now he's released into the real world where you're he's rich and he's famous, but he's a 77-year-old ex WWE guy.
So that's not.
I mean, I ain't trying to be mean, and I'm not trying to be. This is a level question here. What are the odds that if he can't figure out a way back into WWE, he doesn't change his last name to Von Erich?
Oh, come on.
I'm not trying to be. I'm serious. Like, this is the thing he loved, and it's been taken away from him. He doesn't have a wife anymore. His family is at the place where he wants to be. What's he going to do? He's going to be miserable.
Okay, I think he's going to be miserable, but when I started this out, we were talking about why Vince isn't done. So I don't know what Vince does officially. Like, and when I say officially, like, oh, there's a press release, Vince McMahon's going to be doing X, Y, and Z. I don't know what that looks like. But there is no way on God's green earth that he doesn't have a bat phone to Triple H, Stephanie, and whatever other minions he's still got in the company. And there's no way, especially if Bruce is there. Oh, God, that clown. Bruce, what a freaking, he's a minion if I've ever seen one. If those folks are still there, which they are. We know Stephanie's going to be there. We know Triple H is already there because believe he's head of creative. Stephanie's the co-chairperson or co-CEO, whatever her title is, with Khan. Man, there's no way he isn't on the phone rattling their ears off about what to do, how he wants it done. Now, again, that's unofficial. He doesn't have a position with the company. Technically, he's Vince McMahon, though. You think he still doesn't have influence? It's his freaking daughter. That's still there.
Unless she's the one that moved on him. Now,
I wouldn't put that past her because she looked like she got a little evil twinge in her eyes sometimes.
So let me ask
Paul
you this.
Levesque, that's a backstabber. That dude is not to be trusted. He might have been the one turning the knife too, talking about "I love you, Vince" at the same time.
Are you done?
No, he's a bootlicking trustee. Continue. I'm sorry.
I was trying to ask you a question here.
You know I'm salty. I was salty before we got on there.
I know you have real personal problems. We need to make BetterHelp a sponsor so that you can get like some free sessions.
You know, somebody's gonna think we took money from them. And I ain't against what they do. I'm not saying that, but please don't plug people without us getting paid for. Thank you. I appreciate it.
So does Vince still have an active ID card that he can access the property? Because normal
I don't know, but I bet you he can get one with ease.
Normal people on their last day have that kind of thing terminated. So is he just up there walking around kind of, hey, what's going on? Oh, don't mind me. I'm just here to, I'm just up here today.
He can get one with ease. I'm sure he's up, Doc. You answer that question. What do you think?
Well, okay,
so
I don't know, but here's my question. Today was Tuesday. Yes, last night was Raw. He's used to being at Raw. He's getting ready for SmackDown with everything else he does. What did Vince do today?
He called Paul and Stephanie and Bruce and wanted to know what was going on with the show and all those good things. There's no way he doesn't have a bat phone to them.
My thing is, I think Bruce is not long for this world because I don't think what I've read is that he and Stephanie don't get along.
Yeah, they've said that for years. So I agree. He's
and if you want to talk about somebody who's his inside guy, I'd say it was Kevin Dunn. Again, I don't know that Kevin and Stephanie get along. There's a common denominator brewing there. The biggest thing that I would love to see come out of all of this is that that Kevin Dunn leaves and they stop doing that damn camera shake thing for every move to cover up the fact that people can't work.
Yeah, that's the dumbest thing ever. I hate that.
It makes me borderline nauseous to watch because I get motion sickness.
Yeah. Terrible.
It's terrible. Here's the thing. I don't care. Like, I'm more interested in Vince, the crazed, insane person, and interested in I'm interested in how Jerry Jones acts with people. I can't stand the product he puts on the field. Kind of the same way with Vince. Like, I'm intrigued by his whole insanity, but I don't give a shit about the wrestling because more times than not, I haven't liked it, and I don't think he and I agree on what makes a good program. So, okay, who cares?
Okay, you didn't answer the question, though.
Okay, what's the question?
So, outside of doing something officially, did he go down to
the park today and toss some bread to the birds? Did he go to the store and get him a nice cheese spread? I mean, did he have a chicken breast and work out?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I mean,
what did he do?
There's a scene at the end of the TV show The Shield. And the main character, basically does a tiptoe through a minefield and avoids going to jail and flips on everybody he knows. And basically they punish him by saying, you're no longer in the field. You're going to do paperwork all day long. And the second you don't do it, or the second it's not right, we revoke all of this and you go to jail. And he's just sitting there. He's out of the action. And the show ends with him just looking out at the streets. And this is his new life.
Burger King thing.
And that's my whole, I'm not trying to be mean, and I'm not even trying to crack a joke, is that the only thing that this guy's really cared about, and when you work that job sometimes, for all my people out there that work in the service industry, you get into that social scene where it's like all the people at the bar hang out together and they go on, or the restaurant or whatever, they hang out together and it becomes this little ecosystem. He's built that for himself for the majority of his adult life, and it all catered to him, and now it's not there. I mean, that's got to be like having like children die in his world. So he's either figuring out how to get back in, or I'd keep, take away his key to the cooler, the walk-in.
Yeah. But so the question still becomes, is he really done? And go ahead.
You ruined me by bringing me into this. You were already ruined, and it's gotten nothing but worse. There's no part of us that thinks he's done.
I think he's 77. Okay. He's officially done.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's on the books, on paper, he's done.
Mm-hmm.
But unless there's some big, huge revelation that all of this never happened. I mean, look, you never say never.
He's done like your cousin Jamal's done, snorting drugs.
He's officially on paper done. The problem is when you're that type of when you're that influential in your industry, and whether you agree with Vince's vision of pro wrestling or sports entertainment is actually irrelevant to what I'm about to say. When you're that influential in the industry of pro wrestling, unless you are in prison for a heinous crime, I don't know how he's actually done, because he's not, it's not like he's locked up and has no access to many of the people that are still in that, not only that business, but his company. Like, again, he's got the phone numbers to Stephanie, to Triple H, to all these people that are there. What do you think? They just not going to answer his calls?
Here's the other thing.
That I got some cheap swampland for sale worth millions in Louisiana.
Unless an executive of that magnitude dies, they don't just take him out on Friday and say you're done. There's a transition period where, the two executives are overlapping and working together. So there's some of that. My thing is this. It's like when somebody dies, your friends and everybody's checking on you for the first couple of weeks, maybe a month, 6 weeks. It's what happens after that. It's a long life. And what happens after, when it gets quiet for him?
I don't see how this dude just lets it get quiet. That's
there. And what does that look like? Now, in my fantasy world, he walks out on Dynamite this week and says, "Stephanie, you no good bitch." Wouldn't that be awesome if he worked Tony out of his company? Hey, let me come on and pop a number, and then worked Tony out of his company and took it away from him.
Dude. Okay, remember how during and after the Monday Night Wars, it was like, oh my God, this is wrestling's resurgence. because we had gotten past the territories and we just had 2 large companies, and 3 if you want to count ECW as one, but you really had 2. Dude, if he walked out on Dynamite and cursed out his daughter.
The only thing that would make it better is if they were in on it and working Tony out of his company.
See, now you're getting conspiracy theory. But if he walked out on Dynamite and cursed out his daughter and said, if you wanted a war, God damn it, you've got a war. And I'm now the 30%.
And then took a pizza cutter to Moxley.
I'm still the 30% owner. I'm now the 25% owner of AEW, damn it. But let me tell you something else that, people aren't talking about with this. He's still the majority shareholder, and he's still, because of the shares he still actually has voting power in that company, like the majority.
I bet the committees now that he's on, the board of directors committees are now meeting every day. Like, hey, wait a minute. We used to meet like once a quarter and talk about these things. Why does Vince have us meeting every day?
I'm just saying, like, I get that he's quote unquote retired, but this dude is way too influential. Again, whether you like him or not, and Doc and I
don't
hated
think it's
that
influential.
product.
I think it's insistent.
That too. That's part of it. Doc and I are not the people who beat the WWF and Vince McMahon drum outside of Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock, to be frank. We don't, but we give credit where it's due.
I like that fella Calloway. He had a best gimmick.
Calloway had the best gimmick ever, But this dude is influential, man. You can't just say, I mean, it's not like he died last Friday when he quote unquote retired.
And I don't think it's like he's going to go quietly into that good night.
I don't either. Yeah.
He may have to regroup and come up with a plan. So when you say, what did he do today? That's what I think he's thinking is, how do I flip the table upside down and cause chaos? And then in the ensuing chaos, get back where I need to be.
Bruh, we preaching the same message right here. Maybe a little bit differently, but we're coming to the same conclusion.
Now, here's the real question. And this gets to the heart of everything. Is he rooting for his daughter to be successful for the WWE, or is he rooting for her to fail so they come back to him?
Vince seems to be a very shrewd business person. And let's just look at how he cried foul when he thought WCW was using tactics that they shouldn't have been using, such as giving results of his pre-tape shows away live on television. But yet, at the same time, he went and destroyed all the territories. The man is shrewd. You don't destroy the territory system without being shrewd and just devious. I wouldn't put it past him to be like, I hope it fails. God damn it. They're so small compared to me.
Well, that's the thing is, for him to be great, the great man theory, he's the only one that could do it.
Right, he's the only one that could run it like that.
And so if somebody else could do it, yeah, well, it was my progeny, so okay. But in reality, it is. I told you I'm the reason.
It's a new day. Yes, it is. Boom, boom. We clapping. Boom. No,
What's wrong with you?
It's a new day. It's a new day. It's a new time. Now, as I say that, I don't know if there's a wrestling resurgence. I think what we have is what we have. I will say this. I watched the beginning of Raw on July 25th, and boy, Roman Reigns told Theory or Austin Theory something like, you ain't shit. Daddy's not here to get your back for you. And, well, I ain't been watching it, but the body ain't even cold when Reigns said that. So there's that.
Okay.
Not that it matters, but, and, there's this other thing. There's been all this talk about, they're going to go PG-13 again. Bruh, they're a publicly traded company. Call me. I hate to be like this, but I'm like, Mercury Morris from the 72 Dolphins. Don't call me when you're in my city. Call me when you're on my block. Bruh, when they show me that they're going to be more cutting edge, then I'll listen. Until then, I don't want to hear nothing about they're going to be PG-13.
Why don't they call me when Elias is back to being Elias?
Yeah, what did they do to that dude? I just saw that. He ain't got a beard no more.
No, they just completely. Here's another guy. When Eli Drake can be Eli Drake, when Eli Drake can be Eli Drake again, let me know, because now they got him. Yeah. He's like Max Dupree running some male model thing.
Oh God, that sounds riveting.
It's terrible. I mean, he's out there looking like. I don't want to do this.
Any other thoughts on Vince McMahon before we get into the video?
We will continue to monitor this situation and not do breaking audio as needed.
Sounds good. Well, on that note, we are going to start covering World Championship Wrestling from February 23rd of 1991. We hope you enjoyed the Vince McMahon portion of the show that we discussed here and his retirement/resignation, and we made the case for why he was not done. So, Doc, this episode to me was hilarious. In many ways, there was a lot to discuss. We're here. They position this as, this is the day before Wrestle War, which, by the way, if you want to listen to Doc and I review Wrestle War, which we're going to do, it'll be up tomorrow for you at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. Sign up, become a patron, and you can get access to Wrestle War 91, the review, that is. Again, it's tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. But they're in the desert, and I don't know, Doc. Let me just play this opening from JR and Dusty. They're standing in front of a cactus. I don't know why I want to play it. There's not much there, but here it is.
Big third annual pay-per-view spectacular Wrestle War. We're out here with Missy Hyatt, Elegante, Sting is here, the Steiners. It's going to be a great 2 hours.
As we speak, Missy Hyatt is out here looking for Elegante, running around in the rattlesnakes, in the cactus bushes, live in Phoenix, Arizona. Wrestle War 91 coming at you tomorrow night, and we're going to have a ball here today. Tell them, baby.
Let's go back to our studios and Paulie Dangerously and Bob Caudle.
I don't know, Dusty's popping me. Missy, what? Running around the desert looking for Elegante, baby. I just had to play that, Doc.
I thought maybe he was going to say something about her sitting on a cactus bush, or maybe she just shaved and it's like a cactus down there. I don't know. Missy's been listening to the show, hadn't she?
Missy, if you're listening, ignore the village idiot, okay?
No.
He's a necessary evil. Ignore him, please.
If you're listening, call us.
DM at BTT_podcast, if you will, please. We'd love to have you on the show. I know in your Twitter bio or on your posted or pinned tweet, it says you don't do shows. I get it. You don't want to you don't want to answer the same questions over and over. I assure you, we have a gentleman by the name of Hardbody Harper, which I'm sure you've heard on our air. A great guy, loves you. We all love you. We actually don't even want to talk to you. We want to do a review with you. No. We want you to sit in and do a review with us.
I want to give her an open forum about how she was wronged throughout this period.
But she's talked about. See, that's the problem. She's talked about that already. That's
but has she really talked about it? We'd let her talk about it.
I mean, she's aired her grievances on that stuff, bro. That's the problem. Everybody asks her the same questions. That's why I'm like, hey, Missy, we don't want to.
So
what
are we supposed to talk about? How she was rounding up carts at Walmart last week? I mean, shit, we got to talk about something.
I just said she needs to sit in and do a review with us.
Okay.
Missy is a wrestling, she's got a wrestling mind. Like when you see her tweets, Missy is talking about angles and what to do and what she knows this stuff. She's just, everybody thinks of Missy Hyatt back in the day. Oh yeah, she was fine, all that. Okay, that's true. But Missy is a wrestling fan. Loves
you just
wrestling.
Keep her out off my toes during the review and we'll be fine, okay?
Well, so we go to center stage and Paulie and Bob Caudle open the show. Dusty and Missy are in Phoenix, as we talked about, for the pay-per-view tomorrow. We then go to the first match. Paulie and Bob. Paulie wasn't in a good mood, as I say that. What were you about to say? I heard you go.
No, I didn't say anything. I just can't imagine Bob Caudle having to work with Paul Lee in 1991.
Boy, he must be like, Jesus, Lord.
Are
Somebody help
you
me.
are you on drugs, son?
The first match is the natural Dustin Rhodes versus Mark Kyle. Paulie and Bob Caudle remind us to call our cable company so that we can watch the pay-per-view. This is a pretty quick match. It's not bad. It's good. It serves its purpose. The natural Dustin Rhodes gets a win. Doc, any thoughts from this match?
I like that Kyle jumped him before the bell. Good stuff there. Was you don't see that in a lot of these matches. So good job. During the match, Caudle was messing with Paul Lee, which is good. I mean, Caudle's no joke. He'll mess you up.
Mm-hmm.
And
Caudle
I
won't
gotta
play.
think right here. Let's get Dustin a push. He looks good in the ring.
Oh, it's coming.
Let's get
It's
that
coming.
going.
I mean, you're the Booker's son, so, come on. What's going to happen? Any other thoughts, Doc?
No, it was pretty quick.
All right.
As it should be. As it should be.
Yeah, as it should be. All right. We're back in the desert after we go back to the desert with Dusty and JR. I gotta play this segment. Here it is. This is they're promoting a pay-per-view. By the way, Dusty's got jeans on, kind of a Hawaiian shirt, cowboy hat and boots, and JR's got jeans on, white tennis shoes, black polo, and a WCW hat. Just to set the stage as they're standing in front of a cactus. Here we go.
Indeed, the countdown for tomorrow night is underway. Tomorrow night, the third annual Wrestle War pay-per-view featuring War Games, and my colleague Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, is the man that has been in the War Games, the very first War Games. What's going through the minds of these 8 guys as they're 24 hours away from the biggest match of their life?
Well, Jimbo, what I believe that's going through the minds is what went through his mind. When you leave that building tomorrow night after the War Games are over, there will be some lives change. There will be some careers change, and they have to really think about the importance of what faces them tomorrow night, especially the guy that I'm kind of singling out right here, a man that has been a great champion, Ric Flair. He's been in there before, but he stands a real good chance of losing everything. And how about that kid we just seen here? Dustin, he's looking good. Buddy Landell tomorrow night, I know he's coming for you.
I'll tell you something, Dream. We're going to be talking to Missy Hyatt a little bit later to Elegante. She's supposed to be out here somewhere looking for him now. She's also going to be talking to Sting, who will lead his team in the War Games. This is a new experience for the Stinger, and he's got a lot of things to settle with Ric Flair because of the championship situation.
It's like no other match that you've ever witnessed, because it takes in the whole concept of what it really boils down to. It's men against men, locked inside a steel cage, ready to do battle, submit or surrender. There's no pinfall here. We know that's very important for the fans to understand. No pinfall. Submit or surrender. Which one will do it? I don't know.
Well, Missy Hyatt tomorrow night will be in the locker room to conduct an interview, but she's out here somewhere now trying to find Elegante. As we said earlier, we're just outside of Phoenix here. As you can see, Phoenix in the background. What a beautiful city this is, but Missy is going to all lengths to get this scoop on this interview. As a matter of fact, I think we see our
Is that what do you see what I see?
I think you're right. I think that's
That's Elegante. Look at this. And there's Missy dragging up the rear. There's Missy dragging up the rear, trying to get an interview.
the fans are chasing Elegante. We'll go back to Atlanta in just a moment. Paul Lee. Okay, we'll see you in just a moment.
I had to play it, Doc, because the whole central theme of this is Missy's eventually going to get an interview with Elegante in the pool. Spoiler alert on this show. Any thoughts on what we saw right there?
Why is El Gigante roaming around the desert?
Bruh, if I could answer that, I would. I have no idea.
Okay.
It's truly... I get the Dusty telling us lives will be changed tomorrow in War Games is great. Talking about the match. That's some good stuff.
Working in a hit for his kid. Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, but I don't know why. I guess Elegante won't. Okay, now that I think about it, Elegante doesn't want to give them an interview or give anyone an interview, and we'll see why Missy gets an interview later in the show. Let me say that. In the swimming pool. Okay, there's multiple scenes in the swimming pool on this show, by the way. Yeah. All right, so we go to any other thoughts on that right there with Dusty and JR as we're still plugging the pay-per-view. for tomorrow. No. Wrestle War 91. We go to commercial. We come back. Paul Lee and Bob Cottle throw us to a replay of Big Josh helping out Tommy Rich in the interview with Rich afterwards. Paul Lee says, I've heard stories about Big Josh that he was a professional midget watcher in the Great Northwest. Any thoughts on that comment, Doc?
No.
That's what I said. Paulie's just this is a clown. So after that, we then come back. Remember, Big Josh, he just made his debut last week, I guess. If you want to call it a debut when he came out to help Tommy, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, by the way, today is July 26th, 2022. I believe today is Tommy Rich's birthday. So happy birthday, Tommy Rich.
Yeah, you should sing to him.
No, I'm not going to do so. We go to the match. It is Big Josh versus Joe Kazana. Paulie is asking some good questions.
Yeah, can you back up about 10 seconds and hit Paulie's commentary?
What's the timestamp?
13:40.
Okay, so I'm on 41. Let's see if we get it here.
Amazing how an admitted felon can get a wrestling.
Okay, hold on. Let me go back some more.
That was it.
Yeah, I know. Here, let me play it from here.
All the fans, what happened last week right here on World Championship Wrestling concerning this big guy, but he's still got that axe handle in the ring with him.
Well, it's amazing how an admitted felon can get a wrestling license and appear on national TV all within the course of 7 days.
He's not a wrestler. Rich says...
I mean, he kind of did break the law. Like, you can't come out of the crowd and attack a wrestler. You could get arrested for that. I mean, he's not wrong here.
How many felons did Paul Lee employ in the next 5 or 6 years after this?
I'm allegedly quite a few.
Okay.
But don't let the truth get away get in the way of a good story. You know what I'm saying?
We're going to talk about this ref on behind the paywall, by the way. Let's don't bring anything about that.
On the pay-per-view?
At the pay-per-view, we're going to talk about him.
Okay. Any other thoughts on this match? It's a quick one. Big Josh is going to hit Kazana with the flying axe handle and
chin nuts.
Yeah, some chin nuts right here.
Ugh.
And he wins it. And that's it. Any other thoughts?
No.
All right. So we go to commercial again. And when we come back from commercial, Missy gives us an update from Phoenix and tells us she is going to interview Sting tomorrow and Elegante later. I guess this is in the hotel.
Looks like it.
Of the venue. Not the venue. Maybe it's the arena. I can't remember now. Anyway, there's Missy looking great. Yeah. So after Missy mentions that she's going to talk to Sting tomorrow and Elegante later, we then go to Stan Hansen, who is taking on a gentleman by the name of Scott Sandlin. Picture-in-picture promo from Hansen. He tells us he's ready for Vader tomorrow, and that the match has been 6 months in the making. This thing ends with a DQ. Hansen just beats the piss out of this guy, which is what he's been doing frequently on these episodes, Doc. Any thoughts on Hansen, who's got a turd hanging out of his mouth again during the promo? Any thoughts?
I'm going to depress you, me, and a whole bunch of people listening. Stan Hansen is 40 there.
So it's funny you say that. I found over the weekend a 1998 Pro Wrestling Illustrated almanac that I have. It's a book, not a magazine. And it was like they used to do those almanacs. So then I started flipping through. They have like updates, like what happened this year, that year. Dude, there's so many wrestlers that died like in their 30s. I mean, obviously in the 20s, thinking of guys like Gino and David Von Erich. And then you see wrestlers who like didn't really die from like overdoses, but like in their 40s. And you're like, Jesus Lord, like, bruh, time's getting away from us. You and I are closer to 50 than 40.
Shut up.
But Hansen's 40 here. What does he look, Doc?
52.
Yeah, easily. It's that old thing about Ron Wright and Smoky Mountain Wrestling the first time we see him. He's like in his early 50s.
Right.
Or no, what was he?
I don't remember, but it was closer to my age than I appreciated.
Yeah. Like, this dude looks like an old man, and we're like, wait, no. All right. Any other thoughts on Hanson just bludgeoning this poor Sap?
Yeah, he's gonna kick the shit out of this guy.
He's just beating the hell out of him, bro. He
Dismantling.
gets DQ'd. He gets DQ'd. Sandlin actually wins. And that's that.
That's that.
Doc, I'm going to play this Sting promo because I want to make you mad. He's with Missy Hyatt. He's in the gym of the hotel, I'm assuming. Here it is.
Bob, and Stan Hansen really hurt that guy. He's going to be ready for Big Van Vader tomorrow at the 3rd Annual Wrestle War. And someone else involved in that is the War Games, and it's Sting and the Steiner brothers, and where are they?
The Steiner brothers are right now, they rented a pickup truck, our 4-wheel drive, and they're going to do that dirt womping in the desert. I said, good, you guys go do that. I'm going to go to the gym, get a workout in, get pumped, and think about this next match, the 8-man tag coming up, maybe learn a little bit more scoop about the Horsemen flying. Brian Pillman, on the other hand, is off wrestling in Atlanta. So we all do our own little thing to get ready for a big match like this, because a big match like this with a big cage, over 2 rings, we're talking about 4 guys on each team. The Horsemen against our team here. We all end up into the ring inside this one big cage with a roof on it, by the way, so there's no way out, and it's submit or surrender. And one promise I want to make to you, Missy, and everybody out there in TV land is the Steiner brothers, Flying Brian, and the Stinger. We will not submit. We will not surrender.
Ooh, I can't wait. And hey, we'll see the 4 Horsemen right after this.
Bruh, I had to play it because there is nothing about that would make me want to order the pay-per-view.
I don't understand who they're like. He's for the kids. Why would a kid like that?
I would rather Sting how and the crazy Sting than that subdued Sting right there.
Just
you don't even agree with you don't even agree with that, do you?
He used the term dirt womping.
Oh man. All right. Well,
maybe we shouldn't just let anybody be the face of the company. How about that?
We go to commercial, we come back, and we have Ric Flair and Arn Anderson and Barry Windham and Sid Vicious versus David Isley, Larry Santo, Tommy Angel, and Scott Summers in an 8-man match. This is what Sting was referring to a second ago, talking about he wants to watch and get some pointers here. Let me tell you something. I hated this because I realized they're running out the clock. This thing went 8+ minutes before the 4 Horsemen, because I'm going to assume Sid is one. We've had this discussion over and over, right? It took them 8 minutes to beat these dudes. I get it. They were just trying to punish them, but it was a little bit too much time as we overanalyze it like we always do. Doc, your thoughts on this?
I hate 8-man tags to begin with.
Yes.
Oh, stop.
Hold on, let me go back. Keep going while we come back to it.
That was my timestamp for this match.
You hate 8-man tags. Finish your thought, and then we'll talk about what
I hate 8-man tags. Just stop. At least Sid's out there. I mean, that we're at least, helping out a little bit there. Got a couple of how old are these ladies?
Oh, they're of age.
Well, then the one on the left, but the one on the right looks like she's probably going to get some attention from the gentleman wrestlers. What do you think?
Kayfabe, brother.
That's a yes.
I wish Harper was here because she's got that hair teased up. Well, both of them do. It's kind of hard to tell because, this isn't HD footage.
Now,
but
here's the question I have. Would the boys in the back take the one on the left to get to the one on the right?
The boys in the back would do anything because they're nasty. They're nasty.
Well, okay, I guess. We'll have to
I guess. I'm telling you, I know it for a fact.
Okay, we'll have to believe you.
Yes. Okay, Doc, any thought like this went on?
Too much work, more work than this job required. Too long.
Too long. Sid powerbombs everybody in the match, and they stretcher
Good.
almost all of them out, which is what needed to happen. The best part of this, and I'm going to fast forward to it because these guys all get beat down. Eventually, I think he tries to put them all on the stretcher. The best part of this is actually the promo that comes up after the match. Well, let's go to the promo.
Flying Brian and the Steiner brothers will enter the War Games against all 4 horsemen, and there's only one bottom line to this. It's submission or surrender. Nature Boy Ric Flair. It's bleed, sweat, and pay the price of a wrestling lifetime. Scars, scars, blood and gut, scars. We have all been in the War Games. We have all survived. And you know what? We are all champions of the world. Tomorrow night, we find out if they can walk the aisle. Woo! If what I'm seeing is correct, as you load up your sarsaparilla with one of those little umbrellas laying in the sun, we're loading our warhead with chemical weapons. You see, we've been there. Gentlemen, we're gonna make the American Red Cross a Fortune 500 company. Don't make the one fatal mistake as you get your last workout in and lay in that sun, basking those bodies in these violent, trying times. Don't go off and leave your back door open. Don't go off and leave your back door open. What does that mean? You analyze it.
Arn's preaching. I mean, it's not his greatest, but we've been there. We're loading up our warheads. We're going to make the American Red Cross a Fortune 500 company.
I've always appreciated girls who would leave their back door open.
What's wrong with you?
What's wrong with the girls that would leave their back door open?
What is your problem?
What is your problem?
Can you ever be serious?
Dude, we're doing a podcast about 31-year-old wrestling. If I took myself serious, that would make me a bigger mark than the fact that we've been doing this for 7 years.
Okay. Any other thoughts as Arn was preaching?
Chemical weapons. That was a big deal at the time because we were over in Iraq and Desert Storm, and they had the gas mess out. That was a big deal.
Oh, it was. It was a big deal. Huge deal.
I don't mean to say chemical weapons are not a big deal even today. I'm just saying we were kind of on edge about that stuff back then.
No. That shit was a huge deal. I mean, we're talking about because that was the whatchamacallit war at this point. Had it I mean, had it broken out yet?
Well, remember Dusty gave a patriotic speech at the.
That's right. Because he went all political. You and I talked about Dusty's politics that day. Yeah. No. Yeah, you're right. You're on it. Okay. I thought Arn was fucking money here, man. He was preaching like he always does.
Rick was good too.
Yeah, he was. But I'm an Arn fan, unlike Lance, so there's that.
Lance doesn't like Arn?
He called himself trying to get heat one day, and I think he was trying to play heel, and it just it didn't work out. In my humble opinion,
you go back and organize your programs in chronological order, and allow the professionals over here to get the heat.
Yeah. He called himself trying to get the heat, brother. Lance, come on. So yeah, I just don't think it worked out the way he intended it to. I should say. All right, so we go to commercial. Come back. Bobby Eaton takes on a gentleman by the name of Jim Boss. It's a little weird watching Bobby still come out to the midnight music without standing corny to me. I think I've said that before, but just wanted to mention it again. Bobby takes about 6 minutes or so. He's going to drop the leg off the top. Alabama Jam get the win. Doc, any thoughts from Bobby Eaton here getting a big victory? Or not a big victory, you know what I mean?
He's good, and I just think he probably misses his buddies.
It's got to be hard on Bobby because
I mean they probably called him to see it. You know, Jimmy probably called him to see how it's going. Jimmy'd be a lot better if you were here. We'd go down the road, drink beer. Well, Bobby, I'm not exactly sure what you said there, but it's good to talk to you, buddy.
Yeah, that's exactly how it went down.
Remember that guy at work that used to mumble mouth?
Oh my God.
We think he was a super nice guy, but it was hard to tell.
Dude, he was a nice dude.
How do you know? What if he was just mumbling like, "I'll kill you and your whole family"? What's up,
bruh? Like, I would have to. Like, can you repeat that, please? Way too often. Like, I kept repeating. Doc, imitate him. I mean, he was working with Gibson, bro.
Good say. How go? I mean,
we were right there. He had that thick country accent.
Hey, man, you take care.
It's sad because it's not far from that. Dude, how? I'm going to say how.
Leave my dog. I'll be in there.
He had that thick, was it a Texas accent? What was
I don't know.
I mean, he had a country accent. That's what made it worse.
I don't just think of like Texas. It's just country.
Yeah, it was country, and he mumbled. Good dude. I guess. I mean,
like I said, he could have been motherfucking all of us under his breath. We couldn't have tell.
I was about to say I enjoyed talking to him, but I don't never know.
Yeah,
what he
now
used
you
to
got to
say.
think about it. You ever look at somebody with a grin on their face and like, I'll fucking kick your ass, you motherfucker. He was probably talking country Kazarni to us and like lighting us up. We didn't even know. We're just smiling like, yeah, hey, man.
Can you imagine if he was talking Carney to us?
That would have added an extra layer of complexity onto what was already a very, very difficult situation.
I just remember we used to talk Carney in like in the break room and stuff, and literally having full Carney conversations. It was the greatest thing. And people would walk in and we wouldn't stop talking Carney. Like they'd be looking at what the hell is wrong with these two?
One of the better outcomes of our, always tenuous friendship here has been the ability for us to form a language that's somewhat Carney, but also built on nicknames and things from the past to be able to communicate in and around people at all times and never stop the conversation.
So that's the thing that actually did it. It wasn't the actual Carney. It was the kayfabe names that everybody had. You could just continue talking with a little Carney mixed in, but everybody had a kayfabe name.
So you could talk about somebody right in front of them and they wouldn't know you were talking about them.
I mean, it was remarkable.
It's kind of like the same feeling I get whenever I sit down every once in a while in front of AEW and I'm trying to I'm used to Cornette's names and then I'm like, wait, what? I thought, oh, and then I'm confused.
Well, speaking of things that don't really confuse us, we're going to go back to Phoenix now, where Dusty Rhodes is playing with two ladies in the pool, and Jim Ross is trying to make sure we order the pay-per-view tomorrow. Yes, you heard me right. Let's go to it now. This is why you need to be a patron. Not only because this show is ad-free, and your patronage helps support the show, but you can see exactly what we're talking about on our video version. Here it is.
Oh, you're exactly right, Bob Call. The American Dream, along these two lovely ladies, are in the pool, and we still have a lot more from Phoenix to come. As a matter of fact, we are now at our resort hotel, the Point at Squaw Peak, having a great time. And, of course, tomorrow night, right here in Phoenix, is the big third annual Wrestle War pay-per-view. Now, you still have time to call your local cable company and inquire about the availability of this great broadcast. It's available only on pay-per-view. Starts tomorrow. Is the water nice? It feels nice. Fans are still to come. Missy Hyatt is going to be conducting an interview right here at poolside, and you ought to see what she's wearing. She's going to be talking to the world's biggest athlete, Elegante, in just a few moments. We've already heard from Sting as he and the Steiners are out here. They're preparing, and they've gone again to work out and get their strategy together for the big War Games event tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern Time. Now, still to come in the broadcast, we're going to take a look at the Z-Man, who will take on tomorrow night with no disqualifications, Terry Taylor. We'll have all that and more from poolside after this time out.
Dusty shirtless in the pool playing pitch and catch with a beach ball with two lovely ladies. And
hey baby, this beats the hell out of wearing some polka dots, let me tell you.
I don't know, Doc, you got any other thoughts on this as JR plugs the pay-per-view?
I sure hope those two girls are of age.
I agree. They appear to be, but it's hard. The footage is not HD. It's hard to tell.
Right.
But again, you can only hear Doc and I review this pay-per-view that JR continues to plug here at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. And you can watch the video version of not only the pay-per-view that we review, but JR and Dusty at the pool right here. And there's more at the pool. Like they said, Missy is going to be there shortly. So there is that. Doc, I'm going to keep this show moving because we're going to go to a boring match in a second. It's the Z-Man versus Joe Cruz. And I got nothing. The Z-Man wins with the sleeper, and that's my thoughts.
What?
I can't with this dude, bro. I say it every week. They show a quick clip back in Phoenix where Dusty is still in the pool. Now JR has joined him. Shirtless JR with Dusty. They are playing with a beach ball in the pool. Again, if you're a patron, you're watching it with us. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. This is how we help plug Wrestle War 91.
Here's
JR and Dusty in the pool. Go ahead, Doc.
Here's the other thing, and it got by me on that first one. They're staying at a resort they give the name of, and it is a very derogatory First People's term for a female.
Yeah.
The S
yeah. I'm not going to add anything else. Use your imagination. You'll figure out what Doc is talking about, but you are correct, sir.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't say anything. You know, I nothing else I can say. Cotto and Paul Lee aren't too happy that JR and Dusty are playing in the pool with the ladies.
But I mean, just imagine what if they say we're at the N Falls Resort?
I hear you, dude. That's why I'm not repeating what's the name of that resort. I guarantee you the name of that resort's changed now.
Oh, I don't know. It's Arizona, dude. Maybe not.
Nah, I bet it's changed. Let's continue, though. Brian Pillman's taking on John Peterson in the next matchup. And the Horsemen attack Pillman after Pillman beats Peterson. It's all four of them. JYD, Morton, and Rich make the save just after Paulie screams on commentary that no one is here to save Pillman since Sting and the Steiners are already in Phoenix. I guess he considers JYD, Morton, and Rich nobody, but they do save him. Pillman is laid out, though, which is a problem because he's supposed to be in the match tomorrow. War Games, that is. Any thoughts, Doc, on how they run this little angle here?
I thought this was good, and I'm looking forward to Pillman in the War Games because I think, he's needed something here for a while, and this is potentially good for him. I'm not, it's the dumb baby face is kind of necessary to make this all work, so I'm okay with that. I thought this was good stuff, man.
Yeah, I liked it. Pillman getting beat down. Look, here's the thing about this.
The other thing is this. Let me say this real quick. I get that the Horsemen are going to go out there and cut their promo to make this thing work and try to sell it. But there hasn't been a real good reason for this to all be happening, really. And
for them to jump Pillman, you mean?
The whole War Games. I mean, What problem are we trying to solve here? And so this helps. This helps create a little friction that, we can get behind. Now the problem is we got like 24 hours to come up with $30. Then we got to convince somebody in a decision-making authority to order this for us. We have a lot to get done in the next 24 hours now that we've seen this and we liked it.
So I see why you're saying, it doesn't make sense. Why would they jump Pillman? It made sense that they jumped him because the match was going to happen and he was booked in the match. That's why it made sense for them to jump him. But I know what you're saying. Why were those guys put together against the Horsemen at that point anyway?
And why are they all mad at each other? Other than just the normal course of business.
Well, and keep in mind, Pillman has had matches with Flair.
I get that. So, we've all had matches with everybody. The point is, nothing didn't necessitate it a War Games. So this was good in creating that urgency.
I got
a little late in the angle for me is now you and I have to go get $30 together.
Yeah, actually, I don't think it was that much at this point, but yeah, that wasn't happening.
It could have been $300.
Right, it could have been $12, and it wasn't happening.
Now, I'm 17 here. No.
Dude, the pay-per-view would have had to be the cost of a freaking combo meal, which was $2.99, which I didn't even have cable at this point, but it would have had to have been $2.99 for my mom to even considering.
How much do we think the pay-per-view was?
$19.99 back then? I'm taking a guess. Yeah, $19.99. I'm sorry. The price would be $19.99, not $19.99 a year. Yeah, about $20 probably.
Okay, so at $19.99,
I don't think it was $30.
At $19.99, that's $43 today.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying it would have had to be $2.99 for my mom, even if I had cable, which I didn't at this point.
So let's put that in Burger King terms. So because that's where I was there at this point. In today's money, or then, that's about 6 minimum wage hours of work, which is about the most you could swing as a 16-year-old on a weekend, was that 11 to 5 shift. So we're talking about a day's work before taxes for me to get this. And oh, by the way, I got to figure out somebody who has cable and make all that work.
Whole lot of obstacles, Doc.
There was just too many roadblocks. Now, never even bring into the equation that I'm not watching wrestling right
now. Yeah. Whole lot of obstacles. Speaking of obstacles, Sting is an obstacle to this whole situation. Anyway, Sting is interviewed by Missy, who wants Sting's reaction to Pillman's injury, an attack that he just happened to be standing by the TV and watching, because he did say he was going to watch the 8-man tag a little while ago. It's a quick clip. Sting is upset. He says, "We'll regroup. We need to find out how injured Brian Pillman is, and we'll figure this thing out." Doc, any thoughts on Sting, or are you falling asleep over there and I can keep going?
And we got to tag him with Zinc.
We can call them the Sleepers.
Come on.
We get a replay of Bobby Eaton and Z-Man and Terry Taylor from last week when Taylor got involved in Z-Man and Eaton's match. We then go to the next match, which is Terry Taylor with Alexander York versus Robbie Campbell. York says Taylor will win in under 7 minutes and 12 seconds. That seems like a lot for Robbie Campbell. Like, why are we doing 7 minutes here? I don't know. Anyway, Doc, I'll throw to you. This wraps up pretty quickly. I don't know. Again, 7 minutes and 12 seconds wasn't needed.
No, too much work for the job. But we're trying to get this thing into the harbor.
Red Rooster. He really should have changed his.
We got some talk. I I got some thoughts about that for the pay-per-view, by the way.
Oh, okay. That's great. Yeah. I can't wait. Seriously, I don't mean that to sound sarcastic. Taylor hits him with the 5-arm.
But
okay. Taylor hits him with the 5-arm and gets the win. We go back to Phoenix, where JR and Dusty are now out of the pool. Hold on. I got to get to it on the time step. I got to get to it. They mentioned Pillman being attacked by the Horsemen. Dusty is there with a windbreaker jacket on, his cowboy boots, his Speedo, and the boots are sitting in front of him. And any thoughts on them sitting there with their, I'm going to call that mimosa sitting on the table. I really don't know if that's just orange juice or a mimosa. I don't know, Doc.
I was going to ask you about that. Is that just all Florida's finest, or we got a little get up and go in there?
There's some get up and go in that. Did you have any other thoughts on what Dusty talks about with Pillman being attacked?
No. I mean, it's good and all, but how'd they lose? They lost a visual on the ladies that they had.
Well, there's a visual coming up.
That's how you know they were working, because for a shoot, what two wrestlers who would do anything would have turned loose of those two girls they had a hold of?
None of them. Let me put it like that. Almost none. I mean, maybe a guy like Daniel Bryant does, but he's
Bobby Eaton,
straight edged. Bobby Eaton, yeah, like guys like that. They're the only two.
But our top 5 ring rat buster outers from a few years ago with Bobby Blaze.
Yeah, Morton and Stanley.
That was one of the greatest episodes we ever cut, by the way, on the patron side, because we did not confer 1 second about that. And me, you, and Bobby had the top 3 in the same order.
I think that was on the free feed.
Whatever it was one of the more stellar moments of what is an outstanding career that we are putting together. Hall of Fame numbers are being put up here.
The irony of that show, as you've said a bunch of times, is we did not have one discussion ahead of time. It was the only discussion we had was name your top 5 of guys who were slaying the rats back in the day. And, bruh.
That you think are.
Well, Bobby had a little bit of inside because he knew Stan.
Okay, so how did we get it right?
Well, I'm sorry. Bobby knows Stan and Ricky Morton. So he had that advantage. And I mean, he knew as far as in terms of knowing them, met them, worked with them, had familiarity with guys like Flair when he worked for WCW. Now, he wasn't working main events, I know, but I mean, in Smokey, Bobby Blaze is a good friend of Ricky Morton, and he knew Stan Lane from there too. So, but to the point you're making, the fact that Bobby had the same thing as us, who I've met Morton, never met Lane, never met Flair, the fact that we had the 5 lined up so perfectly was just incredible. Incredible. It was a fun episode. One of the best we've ever done. Speaking of the best to ever do it.
It was one of the best 300 or 400 shows we've ever done.
Speaking of the best to ever do it, we got a 6-man tag with the greatest NWA world champion of all time, Tommy Rich, and Ricky Morton and JYD. They won the 6-man tag titles on February 17th at the Omni in Atlanta, but I believe this was taped prior to that, so not that they're going to have the belts once they win them. Anyway, so they're your 6-man champs at this stage of the game, if we're keeping track of things.
At no point.
Continue.
At no point has a 6-man tag ever meant less.
It means absolutely. It means nothing. It literally means absolutely nothing. Well, they're taking on Magnum Force and Bill Ford. Tommy Rich damn near busted his ass coming between the ropes when JYD tagged him in. We did get a picture-in-picture promo from JYD, Rich and Morton hits Tommy Rich tripping. Morton hits his line about these 3 being together. All it does is create stormy weather. It actually creates a lot of powder flying in the air, Ricky, but we're not going to talk about that. JYD mumbles some nonsense. JYD lets Rich and Morton do all the heavy lifting in this match, and Morton this finish is all messed up, but let me just go to you. They win. They being Morton, Rich, JYD. Any thoughts, Doc?
These three are either over the hill or lost.
Ricky Morton's fine here.
I know, but he's lost because he doesn't have Morton. Like I said, he'd be better off with Eaton right now.
Oh yeah.
But Rich and Dog are over the hill, and this getting them together is an attempt to get everybody going, and it ain't working.
Reverse money printer. And I know they paying all three of them. Well,
more than they need to.
The sad part is I bet Rich and Dog are getting paid more than Morton. That's the sad part.
Yes.
And only know that because I've heard Ricky Morton talk about his best year there or best year. And I swear at one point he said he only had 1 year over six figures.
You think he's working on that?
Oh, yeah. A little, but he was underpaid.
Oh, I believe that. Everybody's underpaid unless you're the CEO.
So we keep moving.
He was working in places. He was working in places where the compensation philosophy was, we're going to throw up all the money, and everything that doesn't stick to the ceiling, everything that sticks to the ceiling is for the boys.
Boy, no kidding. So Morton, JYD all win. Rich win. We go to commercial. We go back to Phoenix with Dusty and JR. They're still at the pool, drumming up interest for the pay-per-view. Remember, you can only listen to our review of it at tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. And if you're wondering why you should become a patron, it's because there are no ads on this show. So thank you very much for considering and becoming one if you do become one. We then go back to center stage. Dan Spivey versus Carl Robertson. I got nothing, Doc. The dude does nothing for me. He's like Z-Man. He tosses them around for like 5 minutes and that's it. Your thoughts?
Yeah, I think Spivey would have been helped out a lot if he had a better haircut. I mean, he looks like he's using a Flowbee on his head.
I remember. He was fine when it was with the skyscrapers. It was fine.
Might want to slow down just a bit.
Nope. He was fine. Singles act Spivey, who can't cut promos? No, thank you. Hard pass, Bubba. Hard pass. Well, after Spivey wins, they air a pre-tape promo. He's talking about Wrestle War and Luger, and he's coming for the U.S. belt. It's not bad, but Spivey's voice on promos is like nails on a chalkboard. I got nothing from it, Doc. What about you?
The bug-eyed, the yelling, it's just, he's a legit tough guy. From everything I understand, it's just, it ain't drawing me in. Sorry.
No, it ain't doing it for me, man. It's just bad. Well, Doc, we've come to a very important
Oh my God.
of this show. Missy is in the swimming pool with Elegante. Again, if you're a patron, you can watch a video version of this. Let me repeat. Missy Hyatt is in the pool with Elegante. Let's go to this now because there's an interview that Elegante gives Missy.
Welcome back to World Championship Wrestling, and I'm Missy Hyatt here in Phoenix, Arizona, and it's beautiful. I'm out here at the pool, and I'm trying to get El Gigante over here so I can get the first interview with him before tomorrow night, before Paul E. Dangerously gets him. And this is the world's biggest athlete. And, can I get an interview with you before tomorrow night, please?
No.
But, we're out here, and it's so beautiful, and I really want to talk to you before Paul E. Dangerously gets, please?
No.
Please, I don't understand. Maybe if we, maybe went on a date, would that maybe do it?
Oh, yes.
Maybe, would you like it if I took you dancing?
Oh, yeah, anytime, baby.
All right, well, I guess I'm going to get to take the giant dancing. And now, let's go back to Atlanta.
Wait, he agreed to give an interview if they went out on a date, so I guess it's got to happen after she goes out on a date with him.
Dude, he's going to hollow her out.
Stop it. What's wrong with you? That's not funny. Missy could be listening.
That's in the storyline. I'm saying he's going to holler her out.
You think he's got a hog on him?
I mean, I'm going to play the percentages here and say it's likely if he's proportionate.
Bro, I'll never forget. I got an email from somebody one time. I asked that question, or you asked that question on the show. We were just having fun. You know how we do. We just, like, we're never being serious. It's all...
Sophomoric humor.
Sophomoric humor. And this person, like, you know, the show would be fine if y'all just would talk about the wrestling and y'all don't need to make jokes about guys' hogs. I mean, how much of a adolescent do you need to act like?
You know what those people are? They're the same people that go on our good friend, Ricky, whatever his name is, Cobb's, Super 70 Sports Twitter, which is one of the best Twitter follows on the entire sewer that is Twitter, and say his stuff would be better if he didn't curse so much.
And his cursing is not even like demeaning.
Well, I know, but I mean it is crude and it is hurtful and it is vulgar and you know maybe we should all just stop it.
Remember that time when J.J. Dillon had a podcast, one of the many that failed? I'm sorry, we love J.J. Dillon.
Come on.
He's had multiple podcasts.
See, that's worse than any curse words. You're being disrespectful to the legends.
No, what I was going to say was somebody left a review on his podcast where they talked about it's nice to hear somebody talk about, be classy on a podcast and not sophomorish and treat the business with respect and the reverence it deserves. And you actually are the one who found this and read it on air. And you were like, how much you want to bet we ran that guy off?
Good. I'm not. I don't have time in my day for that. Who are the Freebirds fighting here?
Yeah, let's keep going since we're past Missy's promising Elegante a date if she gets an interview. Freebirds are taking on Keith Hart and Rob Morgan. Paul Lee takes numerous shots at Missy Hyatt, talking about how Elegante will go on a date with her. He's just laying into Missy, basically calling her everything but the child of God. There is a picture-in-picture promo Hayes mentions tomorrow night where Diamond Dallas Page will be at the pay-per-view when the Freebirds take on Doom. And Bob Caudle mentions Trouble in Paradise with Doom, so there is some intrigue into what may be happening with those two teams and in that matchup. Doc, any thoughts on Paul Lee's comments about Missy, the picture-in-picture promo, Diamond Dallas Page, and all that good stuff?
No.
Wow, I thought you'd have something to say about DDP.
Saving it for the paywall, partner.
So I'm going to tease something for the paywall. You want to talk about somebody who's irritating in 1991 WCW? Diamond Dallas Page, and we'll talk about it when we get there.
I think we're going to disagree when we get there, so there you go.
Man, he's over the top, but we'll talk about it then.
Okay.
Then again, maybe I might not feel that way, and that might have just been a tease. So tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. You can listen to Doc and I's review of that, which will be up tomorrow after 7 p.m. Central Time on that Friday. The Friday after this airs.
Here's the thing. For all the patrons out there, we were going to look to do another in-person review. We were going to do an in-person review of this one, but with the exposure, I'll say, I can't say the bad word there, but with our exposure there, or potential exposure, we want to, Menace already has sickle cell. We can't expose him to anything else, or he'll be in what?
You're an ass.
We'll be in real trouble.
Sophomoric idiotic stuff for you.
Where would we ever find somebody to turn on the power and hit record? So we're gonna act out of an overabundance of caution and record this like we normally do. Which, hey, is still phenomenal if I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, we were gonna do it in person, but you got issues and want to act stupid. The Freebirds win. Hayes hits Hart with the DDT, and the Freebirds win, daddy. We then go to Paul E. and Bob Cottle, who wrap up the episode, and they mention a few things before sending it to Dusty and JR. Dusty looks absolutely ridiculous at this closing segment here. Let me just play it. Here it is.
2 healthy Steiners, but Brian Pillman is not healthy at all. This affects the War Games like never before.
Fans, that's going to be it from Atlanta. So right now, let's go back to Phoenix. Jim Ross and Dusty Rhodes, they're standing by. Let's hear from them.
Thanks very much, Bob Collin. I think you deserve the red badge of courage for having to work 2 hours with Paulie Dangerous. Gosh, I'm glad he wasn't here. But, Dustin, tonight, we've got to take the cameras. A date with Missy Hyatt and Elegante. He's 7'7". They're going to be in the dance floor tonight. We got to be there to see that.
We talking about a date. We talking about tipping the light fandango in Phoenix. We talk about soft shoeing across the floor. We talk about pretty little Missy Hyatt with that pretty little girlish look of hers and that big bad Elegante dancing across the floor in Phoenix. It's going to be a matchup only rivaled by tomorrow night, baby. And we talking about War Games. We talking about Wrestle War 1991, Phoenix, Arizona. Woo, yeah.
I'm sure all the fans are concerned about Flying Brian. In your opinion, will he be in the War Games tomorrow night?
I tell you what, I believe that Mr. Pillman will be here live and in color, ready to go, injury or not, because his future, very simply, hinges on it, and so does a lot of other men tomorrow night at Wrestle War 1991.
Fans, you still have time to order this big pay-per-view spectacular. Call your local cable company. Don't forget, tomorrow night, 6:05, we'll have that date with Missy Hyatt and Elegante. For Dusty Rhodes, I'm Jim Ross. We'll see you tomorrow night at 6:05.
The visual, Doc, of Dusty, the windbreaker, the cowboy hat, no shoes on. That's what kind of puts it over the top, to be honest with you. Because, I mean, we've seen him in wrestling trunks, but he's got boots on, so it doesn't look as, ridiculous. But
what's he supposed to wear at the pool?
Just so you know, he's got his wrestling tights on right there. There's a DR. There's a DR on that by the hip part. So he was swimming in his wrestling tights. I guess that's one way to clean them, huh? In that chlorine.
There you go. Get all the
oh, Jesus Christ,
rat juice out of it.
That's nice, Doc. Come on, grow up.
Get all the snail trail residue out of it.
Are you looking forward to the pay-per-view? I guess is my next comment.
I'm halfway through the pay-per-view right now, so I'm going to not say too much.
Okay, that's fair. Fair point. All right, well, so that's how they go off air. Another fun review of Saturday Night on TBS. Not much on the action for this week's episode, but as you can see, we had a lot from the pool with the ladies. There's that. Before we throw it over to Doc and I's giving out the Rolex and handing out the rating for this show, I want to remind you, again, we don't do ads. All we do is cut audio, ad-free. Become a patron. Not only are you supporting the show, but you actually are also getting extra content. And that would be in the form of the pay-per-view that's coming up, which will drop tomorrow night after you hear this. tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. That is tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. A great way to support the show and get tons of extra content. So thank you to all the patrons out there who do support this show. And for all you folks out there who are listening, when I post this show on Twitter and Facebook and all that stuff, hit share, hit retweet for me. When I post the Patreon shows, hit share, hit retweet for me. That helps out greatly. If you want to also know what your funds go to when you do become a patron, I actually invested in so that Doc and I could do in-person stuff that we were planning on doing for this pay-per-view. I bought one of those Zoom recorders so that we could do in person and the audio would be a lot better. So there you go. Eventually, Doc and I are going to do an in-person one again. Can't tell you it'll be every day or, every week or once a month, every 2 months, but we're going to commit to trying to do it. And like we said, if Doc wouldn't have ate some Rona Rigatoni over there, maybe we're going to do it for this one, but that won't happen. But anyway, become a patron, tinyurl.com/PatreonBTT. I always forget, Doc. What do we do? Rate it? Rolex first? You tell me.
Jesus Christ. We rate it.
I knew that would make you mad. That's why I said that. Oh, we rate it. Okay, so what are you going to rate this one?
31.
Disability checks?
Government cheeses.
No, we don't, sir. That's not how we rate these.
Oh.
Yeah.
This show wasn't terrible. We really are hurt by the fact that it's not baseball season.
We're getting there.
Yeah, it's true. I'm gonna say, gosh, the pool stuff was funny. He had the horsemen. Things were too long. I think I'm gonna stay with what I had last week, which I believe is a B minus.
Yeah, I'm not too far off from you. I'm gonna go with a B here. The pool stuff was like we're watching a wrestling show, but I'm literally rating it a B because the pool stuff just had me dying. Like I just couldn't stop laughing at Dusty and JR and I'm talking about Dusty looking ridiculous, but JR did too. He's got a white WCW t-shirt on once he got out of his polo and his jeans, once they got to the pool with the WCW hat. He's got the white t-shirt tucked into the neon yellow swim trunks. It's just ridiculous. And so they're hilarious to me. And if I really think about it, I think they did their job like pushing the pay-per-view. So I'm giving it a B. I'm actually tempted. You know what? B plus. I'll give it a B
God
plus.
almighty.
Well, I like wrestling, unlike you.
That's true. I like
I'll tell you what
entertainment.
I'll tell you what doesn't get a B plus, the 103 degree temperature again today. Bubba, I got the electric bill 2 days ago. Holy crap.
Mm-hmm.
Yours pretty high too?
Yeah, it's real over here.
All right, so we need to hand out a Rolex. I'm gonna go. I'm giving it to Dusty. The dude gets the Rolex, bro. He's in the Speedo. He's in the pool celebrating. He's acting crazy. I wanted to give it to Missy, but that would have been too easy. So give mine to Dusty. Who you giving yours to?
You know, when you fight me for an hour and a half, it feels weird when we come back together at the end, but I'm going to give mine to Dusty as well.
All right. There you go. Good stuff. Before we get out of here, I do need to mention Hardbody Harper's video Shoutout and relationship advice service. Harper is still doing videos. The way to get your video from him. And again, he'll curse somebody out. He'll cut a promo on a family member or a friend. He has no bias. Everybody is fair game as long as you email him to chrisharper16wildcat@gmail.com and go to PayPal. PayPal him to $20 to cc30388cc@yahoo.com. So chrisharper16wildcat with a K @gmail.com and PayPal cc30388cc@yahoo.com. Send him the $20 and he will make sure he cuts that promo, does whatever he has to do. For your video, and be very detailed as well in your video. One other plug I want to mention. So Hardbody Harper's woman continuously Lady Harper kept bugging me to start a TikTok.
She and I recently met. She doesn't seem like the kind of lady who would let something go when she's got an idea.
Dude, she texts me or was texting me every 3 to 4 days. I can do it. I can help you out. I can do it. I can help you out. I can help. Okay.
She's been red-assed ever since she figured out we ain't bringing in the kind of money she thought we were.
When she realized Harper wasn't making $60,000 a month.
He was making significantly less and a lot closer to zero than she was aware.
So, as he got up at 5 o'clock every morning to go to the shoot job, right? She's
right.
supposed to be making $60,000 a month. So I started, let me be clear. I ain't no TikToker. The only thing I know about TikTok is from my wife and daughter, okay? But evidently these youngsters nowadays are on TikTok and things trend and they go viral and blah, blah, blah. And I'm told it's one of these damn digital platforms that is a necessary evil. Now, I ain't a fan of TikTok. I think they're owned by a country or something that, we don't hold too favorable here, but it is a necessary evil in business. So it was created. I have posted a few clips and videos, 2 of them being hit the mute button, you savage, when Harper drained his main vein on air, and the Bigfoot promo is on TikTok as well, along with a couple of Harper's relationship advice videos. But I believe Lady Harper is going to be the one maintaining it. She's got the keys to the Corvette with that one, Bubba. So Send your hate mail to her if you don't like TikTok and not me, because I just kind of did it to stop her from constantly texting me. No, I love you, Tiffany. It's a joke. But seriously, there's a TikTok. It's very easy. So unlike Twitter, which is BTT_podcast, the TikTok is at BTT podcast. There you go. If TikTok's your thing, go do it. If it ain't, well, and that don't float your boat, hey, I'm just like you. I don't float mine either. I can think of other things that float my boat much better. So there's that. Doc, I'm sure you're not on the TikTok. Give your kids the older one, give him about 2 more. The minute he gets a phone, he's going to be on that sumbuck, just so you know.
Do people get naked on there?
Bruh.
Or that's
I've got all kind of
thing
parental
that if you've got older
controls.
kids or no kids, is that you have to stay up on technology to protect your children from the smut and filth that exist out in this digital platform world.
Says the guy who doesn't stay up to date on technology.
I have people for that.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
I got it all worked out, bro. Don't
No,
worry.
you ain't got nothing worked out.
I got it all under control.
Yeah, sure. So, but anyway, before we get out here, I want to mention two quick things. Check out our Vantage Point, the Retro Wrestling Podcast with Joe Murata and Michael Quinn. The northern version of BTT, slightly classier, definitely more professional, but still fun nonetheless. They support us. Please support them. And check out the Bottom Line Cast with Mike Prue and JV as they talk about the career of Stone Cold Steve Austin. They also cover ECW on our Patreon feed, so you can get more of them on our Patreon feed as well, but check them out on their free feed, the Bottom Line Cast. Doc, what else do we need to talk about before we get out of here? I feel like this was a much better show than I thought it would be, but
We've done it
I
again.
was salty. I was salty, bro. I'm still salty. You know what I'm salty about. It has nothing to do with this show. It's got something to do with other things in life. Everything's a work. People are idiots, except our listeners. They're all wonderful. I was salty, so I guess my mood got raised. But if I came across like as, jaded tonight, I'm just salty. I'm sorry.
Well,
guys.
you are no more a dick than you normally are. How about that?
Says the guy who's always a prick.
See, but the difference between you and me is that I know it and you don't.
Oh, I can be a prick. I know that.
Just a
very much.
nasty, prickly prick.
Oh, God, I hope you come to X-Rated one of these years so the people can see your true colors and how much of a prick you really are.
What are you talking about? We had a great time hanging out a couple weeks ago, and there was no prick. We had fun.
It was just me and you.
Right, I made you a juicy steak and then a second steak. I got your Ding Dong CFL Blue Bombers up on my TV.
Bro, you need to tell Mrs. Doc to go out of town more often.
See, we had a wonderful evening of camaraderie and fellowship, and then you come on here going, these people would hate you for who you are. Bro, get the fuck out of here.
They would.
Why?
Because they would. Let's be real, Bubba.
Then why would I want to go?
Because you think you're a star, that's why.
Oh, right. Well, on that note.
Are you ready to get out of here on that note? I guess the words.
Yeah, I got something to tell you after we drop off here. I got to go, so.
All right. Well, hit the tagline, bud.
Well, fine then. Book it, bitch.